Imagine walking into battle with no steel, no gunpowder, and yet holding a weapon that could split bone, slice flesh cleaner than a surgeon's knife, or knock a grown man unconscious with one swing. Native American warriors carried ingenious tools of war that most people today have never even heard of. These weren't just weapons, they were art, science, and survival rolled into one. Let's count down the most fascinating and sometimes terrifying examples. Number 14. Casse-tête. The stone club, or casse-tête, was straightforward. A shaped stone head mounted on a wooden shaft. Heavy enough to swing with momentum, it could fracture skulls or shatter collarbones in a single blow. Think of the effect as blunt trauma on steroids. Internal bleeding, concussions, or broken limbs were common results. Found across the Great Lakes and beyond, countless examples now sit in museums, where you can still see the polish left from repeated handling centuries ago. Number 13. Wooden War Club. This weapon is more or less like a baseball bat hardened from ironwood or maple, sometimes carved with a bulbous head or chisel-shaped edge. The wooden war club could be light enough to swing quickly or heavy enough to knock a man off his feet. When swung at the ribs, it often left fractures. To the head, it meant unconsciousness, and sometimes worse. Some warriors embedded stone flakes or animal teeth along the edges to rip through skin. Unlike fragile stone weapons, these clubs lasted through seasons of fighting. Today, they're still carved for ceremonial dances, reminding us how something so basic could be devastatingly effective. Number 12. Pipe tomahawk. One of the most fascinating hybrid tools in Native history, the pipe tomahawk was both a weapon and a ceremonial object. One end carried a sharpened hatchet blade, perfect for cleaving through wood or bone. Flip it around, and the hollow handle connected to a smoking bowl. That dual purpose meant it appeared in battle and in peace councils alike, to strike or to smoke. Imagine how unnerving it must have been to see an item that could split a skull also being passed around a fire during a treaty meeting. Many survive in collections, rich with symbolic engravings. Number 11. Jawbone Club. Ever think of a weapon made from teeth? That's right, teeth. Some native groups turned animal jawbones, buffalo, horse, even elk into brutal, striking clubs. The mandible was cleaned, dried, and wrapped with a grip, leaving the teeth exposed like jagged serrations. A swing of this club didn't just bruise, it tore. Picture the damage that happens catching that across the face. Fractured cheekbones, shredded skin, broken jaws. Beyond combat, jawbone clubs carried status, a warrior's proof of skill and creativity. A handful still exist today in museums, where you can see those intact rows of teeth, silent reminders of how nature became weapon. Number 10. Throwing stick before guns. Range often meant life or death. The throwing stick was essentially a sleek, balanced wooden baton designed to fly straight and hit hard. Some were flat and aerodynamic, others curved slightly like a non-returning boomerang. Hunters could drop rabbits and ducks mid-sprint or mid-flight with a well-aimed throw. Against people, the impact could dislocate shoulders or leave opponents stunned and bleeding. Are still thrown today, proving how clever engineering could make even a stick dangerous. Number 9. Native bow and arrow. Everyone knows about bows, but not about these bows. Native makers crafted them from hardwood, sometimes horn, with sinew or rawhide strings stretched to perfect tension. Arrows were fletched with turkey or eagle feathers and tipped with stone, bone, or later iron. They weren't toys. A strong shot could pierce hide, bone, and even early European armor at close range. A chest hit meant collapsed lungs and rapid blood loss. A leg wound crippled. Accuracy came from meticulous balance, the flex of the wood, the alignment of the fletching. These bows still survive in collections, their craftsmanship strikingly elegant. Number 8. Atlatl. Long before the bow, there was the atlatl, a carved lever used to hurl darts with frightening velocity. The device added extra torque, letting a hunter or warrior send a spear farther and harder than by hand. Imagine a 6-foot dart flying fast enough to punch through deer hide or human ribcage. Spaniards recorded seeing Atlatl darts pierce metal armor in Mesoamerica. For prey, that meant collapse within moments. For enemies, punctured lungs or shattered bones. Archaeologists still unearth carved atlatls, often decorated with animal motifs, showing how a simple lever could tip the balance of power in battle. Number 7. Lance. When horses entered native life, the lance became a centerpiece of plains warfare. Picture a long wooden shaft, sometimes over 10 feet, tipped with sharpened stone, bone, or later iron. From horseback, the reach was deadly. A thrust could pierce chest or abdomen, causing rapid internal bleeding. They still exist in museums and in some ceremonies, where their elegance reminds us that range and reach once meant survival. Number 6. Gunstock War Club. Shaped like the wooden stock of a musket, the Gunstock War Club was a weapon born from adaptation. Warriors saw the shape of European rifles and copied it into hardwood, adding iron spikes or sharpened edges. One swing could shatter a jaw or split a skull. The spike could punch straight through bone. It wasn't just effective, it looked intimidating, almost like a rifle turned into a melee tool. Surviving examples are decorated with carvings and brass tacks, showing how much status they carried. Today, many replicas exist, but originals sit carefully preserved in museum collections. Number 5. Morning Star War Club. The Morning Star Club was as brutal as it was symbolic. Picture a hardwood shaft topped with a heavy stone or wooden ball, sometimes set with sharp spikes. A single swing could crush a skull, break arms, or cave in a rib cage. The spikes added piercing power, turning every strike into both blunt and puncture trauma. Evidence of how raw force and craftsmanship could combine into one devastating battlefield tool. Number 4. Mācuahuitl. One of the most infamous indigenous weapons came from the Aztecs, the Mācuahuitl. It was a wooden paddle lined with obsidian blades, sharp enough to slice flesh cleaner than steel. Spanish accounts describe horses being decapitated in a single swing. A strike to the torso could open deep gashes, causing catastrophic blood loss. Unlike metal swords, the obsidian shards could be replaced when dulled, making it endlessly reusable. Though most originals were destroyed after conquest, replicas show just how sharp obsidian truly is, sharper than modern surgical steel. Number 3. Bola. The bola is almost playful looking. Cords with stones tied at each end, swung in wide arcs before release. But once airborne, it was a nightmare. The spinning cords wrapped around legs, arms, or even necks, tripping enemies and leaving them helpless on the ground. A hard impact could fracture bones or knock a man unconscious. On open plains, it worked beautifully to bring down fleeing prey or fast-moving enemies. Archaeological finds and oral traditions prove its effectiveness, and versions of the bola still survive in South America today, though more often as hunting tools than instruments of war. Number 2. Blowgun. Silent, lightweight, and surprisingly deadly, the blowgun was a hunting tool that doubled as weapon when needed. Typically made from hollowed cane or wood, it fired darts tipped with natural poisons like curare. Imagine walking through dense forest and never hearing the dart that punctures your skin, yet within minutes, paralysis sets in. For smaller game, the darts killed outright. In combat, even a scratch from a poisoned dart spelled doom. They weren't flashy, but they represented patience, precision, and the use of nature as an ally. A few indigenous groups in the Amazon still craft and use them. Number 1. Rabbit stick. Unlike the fluffy and cute bunnies, these rabbit sticks are quite the opposite, lethal and dangerous. The rabbit stick was a curved, boomerang-like club, and it was more than just a hunting tool. Crafted from heavy hardwood, it was designed to be thrown low and flat, spinning as it flew. A solid hit to the head or chest could drop small game instantly, but against people, it was just as dangerous. The blunt force could fracture skulls, break ribs, or knock an opponent unconscious before they even saw it coming. Think of it as the Swiss Army knife of that era. Unlike true returning boomerangs, these sticks didn't come back. They came to hit. Many southwestern tribes use them, and examples still survive today. Next time you hear native weapons, don't just think tomahawks. Think rabbit sticks, blowguns, and obsidian blades sharp enough to scare steel. Simple, clever, and brutally effective.